We've also got some news on Square. Kate Rooney joining us now to break that. Kate, what do we got?
Hey, Brian. Square out with a long-awaited white paper on its Bitcoin business. This business is called TBD. The company essentially saying that they want to launch what's known as a decentralized exchange. They call
TBD? Trade-based dollars? Well, that's to say United States dollars, USD.
All this
Beef.
TBDEX. So a
USD.
decentralized exchange is essentially a peer-to-peer marketplace, so you can
What?
either buy and
And I
sell
thought it was Square, Jim.
cryptocurrencies. It
I thought that was
can't
good on the
put a
far.
fee for a middleman here, whether that's a bank or a brokerage firm. This is extremely wonky, guys. It's about a 20-page white paper, really geared
Yeah,
toward
that's what they're
developers.
doing.
They
They're
say that
making
looking
square
for
quarters. That's
feedback.
what they're
It's posted
sons of
on
bitch. Call
GitHub,
somebody
which
who
is a
cares.
developer platform. So intended to be
I mean
sort of
that
the first
realistically.
draft here.
Here's one thing. You know, it's a dollar bill. It's when I hand somebody a Zcoin, right? You know, I'm gonna tell you it's worth $10 for a service that I owe you. It is $10 could be really anything. I don't do blowjobs. I don't let you stick it in my ass, and we do some of the basic things that's too mallows. Really, honestly, but at any rate, well, I don't do that contract. But it in there. You know, just between you and me, it's a decentralized currency. The government walks in here and goes, well, why didn't you do that for money? I was like, well, I was going to buy pot with it. Honestly, I didn't want you to know about it. I mean, kind of seriously. But it comes up for dollar bills later. I don't need dollar bills to buy a house. I mean, I've seen guys work their way into positions where they get setups and systems, and it's a decentralized system, and you go ask the cops, you know, why was this person living on your property, not paying taxes and doing anything, and they'll tell them, well, I was paying the taxes, and this person was living on my land, and Zillow pillow that thing for real estate. What were they doing? Why were they doing it? And until it makes sense, and then it's centralized again. It's like now the information has become clear. Apocalypse, seeing a phoenix out there, and he's getting roasted. And that's the way it would be. It would be nice and square. I'm the fair and the level. You melt to whatever acid and points are made. And they could be good. It's like, well, damn. I didn't know we could do that. Shit, fucking, you know, I didn't have to give them money. I could just give them food and a place to stay and an indentured servant, dude. Shit, we could do that again. That would be cool. As long as they were cool with it, you don't beat them. I mean, it's like there are some sensible rules, and it's like, well, were they really ever decentralized away from gravity? Were they? They're really not. It's still a U.S. dollar. I mean, U.S. dollar's gonna, well, it's the yen, the fucking yen. That you never decentralized it. You made an algorithm that was parallel to it that still worked like USD and yens. This is USDs. I don't care which one's first, right? Let's just use a little fucking quantum physics this morning. Like, so you agree with me? Great. All right, so you have 1 yen. And you have particle science. So I'm going to put that right here. And you have $1, right? And they are basically equal. And really what matters, well, let's assume that they are. Bernoulli's this thing with me for a moment. Make it a particle. Because then you have particle science, and I suggest you use it. And you would be in a non-centralized, or in a very centralized system. They're the same. The values on this are this and this. For me to give you 1 USD to a yen for a piece of property that's over there, I would need to give you 1 point what percentages, because the sticks aren't the same, right? They're not the same length. They're not the same centralized system. Right? Because then you're going to tell me one is this and one is that, and they are two different things. This cowboy worked for in a log factory, because I know China's got them. Right? And you would say the minimum effort on that, and regardless if you're dealing with Kenyan dollars for 3,000, Kenyan dollars for a gram of gold, or USD dollars and 17, while doing what happens to all the gold in your town being transferred from bullion into jewelry, to skip over some other steps and some things in here, because that would be decentralized. You're going to make a lot of fucking problems inside of that. That's the nature on this. But if you are a bank and you use all of the same calculus, then it doesn't matter. Well, you go to the grocery store and do it all the time. Quantum physics at the register. You just didn't notice it. You didn't understand that was the same math problem. You're turning it into portions of a fractaled share down to frosted mini wheats, right? Where you're not even buying the full farm. You're buying one or two plants, and you're buying 2 turns on the thresher that in the factory turns it all and pumps out some frosted mini wheats. Breakfast this morning. That's actually what you bought. You bought GameStop on ACM splitting shares. But it's okay because it's in the same calculus. They went against forms of calculus. There's no wrong reason why this shouldn't take on Jamie Dimon, Chase Banks, right? It's like there's no reason Square shouldn't. They do money. It builds into the timeline. They get a percentage out of this. It works for credit or loans. It's like the bank gives you a nut of money that you did not have before. Or at least it gives you, I have the money, but I don't want to spend it all like that, so I want to break it down. And instead of doing it my own end, I take a loan out. I'm sure there's a reason. I'm sure there's got to be some kind of reason for it. But in there, let's go back to the original centralization of that. I don't have the money. I'm working. The trajectories of my job to keep coming back and the history on that particle say the momentum on this should go. And that's a risk. And I want to catch a percentage on that, 0.8%, right? Or whatever the game may be. Some people are willing to take risk if the money was higher and the timelines were longer, or higher money, shorter timelines. You can still pay. Hey, it's my money. You don't like what I charge you, supply and demand, go somewhere else. I don't like that fact, I drop the price. That's centralized. It's gravity. And I'm not saying that they don't have that. Obviously, if I could go through your system, see AI, see calculus, see banking, financing, see a scientific process, organic chemistry, all of those things are there, and they certainly become a lab for it. And it's not like you couldn't train somebody. What happens? They're like, well, they're all over in college doing economics and stuff like that. Well, what is it really? This XYZ location on the XYZ locations on the fucking planet? Go in and take a look. I robot this thing. I mean, you're saying it's AI technology. Put it out there. Let me see what your civilization does. 888. And I don't want to see your employee's home life. I don't want to see him cooking dinner and doing shit like that. That's not what I want. I want to see him do a bank loan. I want to see the AI cut out names and numbers inside of here that I'm not supposed to see, but have all the same fucking form work every time. And then I want to see the computer system that says, when I look at that system, the conversation seemed a little bit weird. Your AI thought for itself and decided to change this number from what you say it is to what this says it is, because it would be centralized. It'd be centralized and investigated, because you want to, obviously, from something like Square. Past that phase of the bullshit, want the gravity on my team. That is what I want to show you, and companies that do should have reason why they have the credit for me to want a loan from them, or buy whatever value at that system that Doge is worth.
They're looking for feedback from the community, but it is the first piece of news we've gotten out of this Bitcoin business.
Oh.
It's still called TBD. This version
Arabica
is
this morning in your coffee?
So more to come here on this decentralized exchange, but this is the first step in what looks to be a new business for Square out of its Bitcoin segment of that business. Back to you guys.
Kate, quick follow-up here. How many exchanges do we have roughly? Now, I'm not going to put you on the spot with the exact number, but we seem to be getting these announcements.
You get one spell a day on D&D. That's it.
Often.
Just one.
Yeah, so there
You can buy a house. You could go to the store and get coffee, but nothing
else.
else.
Selling through the Cash App. So they have a sort of exchange on their own. You've got Coinbase, you've got Robinhood.
24 hours.
The difference here is that it is decentralized, they say. There are others out there. Something called Uniswap is one of the more popular ones. But the idea here is that it actually wouldn't have a middleman. So
it's like if I had all of my money on this coin, this Square coin right here, and I wanted to use it, what are you going to tell me? What are my limits? It's like you physically cannot buy these things. These are the companies where it's like Marabitos downtown in the gas station. That's not going to work. Not yet, anyways. We're working on that. When the time goes up, we'll let you guys know, and the stock will bump back up, and you get on it.